Welcome to Diary of a Working Girl, where women talk about how they got into the profession of being a working girl. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you comment down below and share. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Victoria, and I live in the Dominican Republic and Santo Domingo. But this story is going to be unbelievable for you. So, just to kind of make a long story short, my grandma died and she left her house to me. Now, her house was like a home for tourists. So, tourists would come in and they would rent out rooms. There's 6 rooms in the house, and each room is self maintained. It has everything that you need to be comfortable. Now, there was this one guy that was a long term tenant. And he said to me one day when we were sitting on the terrace, he said, "So, when your grandma passes on, this is going to be all yours, right?" And I said, "Yes." And he's like, "Listen, what are you going to do with it?" And I told him that I'm probably going to sell it and get a cafe. And he was like, "Well, I'll give you a good offer for it." And it was shortly thereafter that my grandma passed away in the hospital due to the big C word that was going around the world. And I sold it. I sold her house to this guy. Now, when I sold this house to the guy, he paid me in cash. I didn't know what to do with all the cash at all, but I did want a cafe. So I went down the street and I went to a cafe that was boarded up for many years, and I every time I passed it, I always had the dream that I would open it up. So I did, but it went belly up within months. Everything I had from the sale of the home, I put into that cafe. Specialty coffees and everything. I thought the tourists were going to love it, but they didn't, and neither did the locals. I guess the prices were high, but anyway, that's not what this story is about. Stay tuned till the end because this is really a gross story. So, this is how I became a working girl. When that went belly up, I didn't know what else to do. My grandma was gone, no money, I had nobody, a single girl. So I started to, first of all, I went to Sosua. And in Sosua, I started to just work. Now, when I went to Sosua, I did have a couple of bucks. And I was able to rent myself a place for 2 months in the Dominican area. And I went online, opened up a fans only. I opened up a whole bunch of Instagram accounts and I did my thing. I really became a down low type of working girl. I didn't go to the clubs, I didn't go to the bars. I was a little shy, a little scared, and also a little embarrassed. But the guy that bought my grandma's house from me, he was in Sosua. And he saw me one day at the grocery store. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I couldn't lie. And I told him what happened. And he's like, "Well, what are you doing for money?" And I told him, "Well, I get dates online." And he's like, "So you're a working girl?" And I was like, "Well, for now." And he's like, "Why don't you come back to Santo Domingo and you can stay in the house? I have a deal for you." And this is where it gets weird. So I went back to Santo Domingo with him, and it felt great to be back in my grandma's house. But this was the deal. He wanted me to be a working girl in the house itself for the men that were coming to stay there. So, like a house girl. And this was the other thing. After I did it with them, he wanted to do it with me right away. Now, he told me he wasn't gay, but I think he is undercover gay and probably feels the way I felt when I was in Sosua. A little embarrassed, a little shy, and a little insecure about being a working girl. I think that's how he feels about being gay. Because after I sleep with the men, I go straight to his place. He lives on like a little side house, a little bungalow from the big house that he has had built. And I go straight over there, and then he sleeps with me. And he likes to smell me first. Gets kind of strange, and then he asks me the size of the man. What was he like? How did he move? You know, the different movements. And he needed to know every single bit of information. And then as I was telling him any information about the guy's size and the way the guy did his actions, he would sleep with me. And it wouldn't take him long at all. All I would have to do is talk about the other guy's manliness, if you know what I mean. And this guy would just go to town with it. Now, this guy, he's also somebody who vlogs. Now, he's come to Sosua, and I can't say his name, and I definitely didn't tell Cerise his name either, so she doesn't even know. But this guy has a lot of friends in Sosua, and he has gotten me to sleep with some of his closest friends and his brother. And when I sleep with his closest friends, that's when he gets even more aroused. He wants to know their size. He wants to know how they do it. He wants to know every single thing. And there's this one guy who's a vlogger in Sosua that he's very good friends with. And he can't wait for me to sleep with that guy. But that guy who's a vlogger in Sosua doesn't want to sleep with me. He is not into working girls. And he's not a popular vlogger in Sosua. He's trying to make a thing of it, but he's not one of the well-known Sosua vloggers. But he's trying anyway. And he is not into working girls. And one day he even said to me when he was visiting in Santo Domingo that he apologizes. He's like, listen, I know my friend tells me that you're a wonderful girl, and, you know, he feels bad for me because I don't really have a full-time girlfriend, and I've been hurt from a couple of girls, but I just don't enjoy having a girl just for the night. I'm looking for a relationship, and, you know, it's not that I don't want to be with you. It's just that I'm looking for somebody that is going to offer me a more solid relationship. I'm not interested in the guy at all. If I was, I would definitely be his solid girl because he is somebody that seems very nice. A little awkward, but nice. I'm not interested in him because I'm more into my Dominican men, and I love Dominican men, and I'm waiting for my Dominican man to come along. I can be patient. In the meantime, I will be a working girl, undercover. But this is what this guy wants me to do. Again, I will never say his name, and I will never say what his channel name is. But I will say this. When your friend sets you up with a girl, it could be that he just wants to see what you're all about. He's setting you up with a girl, but he's setting you up for so much more. Be careful when your friends give you a reference of a woman. Every single thing you do with me in bed is every single thing I go back and tell him, and he gets off on it. Hey guys. Yeah, when she told me that story, I was like, who's the vlogger? And she's like, I can't tell you. And I'm like, who's the Sosua vlogger? At least tell me that. She's like, I can't tell you. These guys are friends and they hang out with each other and they'll tell each other. She's like, they'll probably figure it out on the video. Oh my gosh. So I just want to say to you vloggers, she really didn't share with me who the name is of anyone. She really didn't. And I don't even know if this house is located in Santo Domingo. I have a funny suspicion that it's not, because let's really think about it. How many places in Santo Domingo like that have like a lot of tourists coming in and out? Well, probably a lot. Yeah, probably a lot. But in any case, I'm still speculating that it's not in Santo Domingo and it's probably somewhere here in Sosua. And it could be that these vloggers are more well known than what she's saying. You never know, guys. Remember, when your man friend is setting you up with some girl, and that's his girl, it could be that he's going back to sleep with her just to figure out how you slept with her and getting off on it. Undercover, undercover. All right, guys. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much for listening to Diary of a Working Girl. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and also do me a favor, please. Comment down below like you always do. I always love reading your comments. All right. Make sure you share and be careful out there.